Welcome back. Still to come, Emmerdale's Matthew Wolfenden with the latest soap gossip. Plus, we put the tastiest takeaways to the calorie counting test.
But first, desperate for bigger breasts, the perfect pout and smaller bingo wings, these three women spent thousands on buying themselves a better body. But their cosmetic surgery dreams soon turned into a nightmare when their plastic procedures went badly wrong.
We're also joined by plastic surgeon Angelica Kavouni, and welcome to all of you. It's good to see you. We will warn you at some stage during the course of this chat. There are a couple of pictures that you may want to look away from, or if you've got someone tiny around you, but we'll give you plenty of notice so that you know. Claire, let's start with you. Why did you want a boob job?
Had a daughter. They drooped. One was a lot bigger than the other one, so I just wanted them symmetrical and
there was
fuller.
a difference in price doing it here in the UK and going
yeah,
overseas.
there was. It was around £4,000 for accommodation, flights, implants, uplift, everything.
So where did you go?
To Prague.
And what made you go there?
I had a recommendation from a friend that had lipo there, was successful, and another lady at the salon I worked at, she also had it done and was absolutely fine. So by their recommendations, I absolutely trusted that everything was going to be fine.
You thought you'd done your homework, you'd done all the right things. So you're excited about your potential new body. What happens then? You go to Prague, and what's the next step?
You arrive, I assume, then you go to the hospital, you meet your surgeon, you have your consultation, you go in. 4 days in, and I still haven't seen anyone. So me and my friend that flew out with me, we sightseed and just enjoyed Prague.
But you're thinking this must be normal, you know,
Yeah.
you're in a foreign place,
Yeah.
this must be just the way it works here.
My mum did mention to me, if there's anything not right, don't go ahead with it. But I was just like, everything will be fine.
At what point did the really loud alarm bells start to ring for you?
When I woke up from the operation, I couldn't move. They don't give you any painkillers. There was no morphine or anything. I was in massive pain when I woke up, and yeah, it was horrendous.
So no pain relief?
Nothing.
When did you come home?
Then the day, so I had the operation on the 5th day, and I flew home 2 days later. So the day I had the operation, I was done, went back to my hotel, walked back to the hotel, and then the next day I was flying home. Yeah.
So when you got home, you were still in screaming agony?
Yeah, it was still really bad pain.
Your mum's trying to persuade you to go to A&E?
Yeah.
And you wouldn't go?
No.
You just said you were going to rest?
Yeah.
And hope it would get better?
I rested for around a week and I was better.
And then you had a look?
Had a look.
And?
Stuff was pouring out of one breast. Just, mum got a towel and wiped me over, and she said, I can see a hole, there's an implant, we need to get you to the hospital now. We went to a Reading hospital, and they didn't have a plastics ward, so they said straight to Wrexham Park. Went there and I was admitted straight away.
Well, the surgeon was quite angry, wasn't he, that the way that it had been done, the way that you were left. Go on.
He said, "You're the 4th person this week in the same situation. Why go abroad?"
We've got one of those pictures now, and this is what you were dealing with, and here it comes now.
Oh, Claire, my goodness.
So that it took 7 months to heal, didn't it?
Fully, well, yeah, to sort of get them back to looking okay.
How did you feel within yourself at this stage? Because you were going through all of this in the first place to try and improve your confidence and to make yourself feel better.
Lovely, yeah. For a couple of years, I wasn't right.
And then next to you, we've got Stacey. You'd always been worried about your lips, hadn't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then looking back, you say, I don't know why I was worried about the lips.
No, because now they're about the same size as what they were before I had the...
After everything you went through.
Yeah.
So you had regularly had fillers.
Yeah, I was going for 3 years previously to the same surgeon.
Yeah.
And I was going back every 6 months to have fillers, temporary fillers in my lips.
So quite painful and a regular thing.
Yeah.
And then, so the surgeon says to you, actually, do you know there's a new permanent way to have this done?
Absolutely, and he said it's exactly the same as a temporary, except I don't have to come back again to have it done.
Sounds great.
Well, absolutely.
What was the problem?
Great, yeah. So, and I mean, everything was great for about 7 years, and then I noticed some hardening in my nasal folds going down to my lips, and then over a period of about a year, I started getting lumps on my lips, and they progressively got bigger and bigger, and so I contacted the surgeon, and he said to come back. He didn't say it was because of the permanent filler. He just said I must have had a reaction to it.
Yeah.
And then he injected, I think it's steroid injections, and they actually just killed the tissue around the lumps and made them even larger. And then that's how I was left.
Well, it left you, as you say, a virtual recluse.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I did. Apart from taking the children to school, which I had to do, I didn't want to leave the house. I covered my mouth with my hands, so no one could see them. And
we have another picture here, which we are about to show you, and here it is. So that's really is quite shocking what you were left with.
Yeah,
how was it
absolutely.
put right?
Yes, it was. I applied to the show, and
this is Botched Up Bodies we're talking about, which is
Bodies.
why you're all here.
Absolutely. And and they sent me to this fantastic surgeon who removed it all. It's about a 5-hour operation to remove it all. And and I'm so happy I've got my life back. So.
Yeah, of course, you can tell. I'm very, very happy. And Laura, you've got your own story as well. And just like Claire here, it was a procedure, you had an issue with your arms.
Yeah,
and you wanted to
that's
try and deal with the old dreaded bingo wings that we all talk about.
That's it.
But like Claire, it was your friend had the procedure done.
With
so
the same surgeon.
What a recommendation. You're thinking this is going to work for me.
That's it.
But obviously it didn't. I mean, what went wrong for you?
There was a couple of things that obviously went wrong. I mean, firstly, they do things quite differently. I went to Belgium. And one of the things they do at this particular hospital, they don't actually give you a general anaesthetic. They sedate you, which I was quite fine with. You know, I trusted my surgeon. It didn't work out that way. I basically, the beginning part of my surgery, I could feel what was going on, but I was paralysed. I couldn't speak. I couldn't shout. It was
that's like a horror.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, reoccurring nightmares since. So it was awful. I mean, that part obviously was horrific. Came round, came home the next day after surgery. It was then I kind of looked at my arms sort of in the bandages, and I just thought they don't really look much different to when I went. I knew they'd be swollen, so I kind of sort of left it, and then the reality sort of, hit me. Within a few months I'd realised there really hadn't been anything taken from my arms. The second thing they do differently is they glued my arms as opposed to stitch them. And obviously with that weight still there, it basically stretched my scar. So my scar ended up going from a very nice thin line to the main part being about 3.5 centimetres. During the surgery, as I've been told by my fantastic surgeon who redid them for me, my nerve was nipped during the procedure the first time.
And did your surgeon agree when you had them redone that actually they hadn't taken anything out?
Yeah. And I kind of spoke to him about the pain that I was having, sort of stabbing pain, shooting pains, really, really painful. And he was able to explain to me what that was, and it was due to the nerve. So I felt great that it wasn't me sort of dreaming it. I knew that there was something not right.
How much did it cost you?
To go to Belgium, just under £2,000.
And the surgeon there, when you said you were concerned, was quite dismissive.
Yeah,
about that.
exactly. Yeah, he kind of used a lot of sort of medical jargon that obviously sort of intimidated me, and he just sort of brushed it off with, well, that's obviously how you've healed. That's your scars. That's how your body sort of deals with the scarring, and I can do it again for you, but it's going to cost you X amount of thousands to have it recorrected.
Angelica, what's the lesson to be learnt here?
Well, I think the first lesson is that cost should not be the first and foremost decisive factor. It is very important to make sure that where you go is a very good facility. You have to know the surgeon, and you have to research as much as possible. And unfortunately, having one recommendation is not really enough, because even in the best hands, things do go wrong. And we have to be prepared for that. It's very difficult if something goes wrong and you had the procedure abroad to deal with this. Unfortunately, there's been a huge increase. I see patients all the time. They have tummy tucks and big procedures abroad, and it doesn't really matter where, but then either they have to go back to the NHS or they have to pay a lot more money privately to see a doctor here. So at the end of the day, it's better, in my opinion, to save up, stay in the UK. There are many good surgeons here. There's more and more regulation now coming along, and especially with the fillers,
you have no idea. All kind of weird and wonderful things are being injected. And we see patients from the Middle East, for example, we don't know what has been injected, so that's a common story. So, yes. Stay in the UK.
Even over here in the UK, you should check what you're having done. You should make sure that you get the proper references, and you should do your research on the facility and on the surgeon.
Absolutely. There has been a lot of work done by the British Association of Plastic Surgeons over the last few years, trying to educate patients. I think education is key, and you have to see more than one doctor. You have to see at least 2 or 3 doctors. Try and gather as much information as possible. You have to be informed about exactly what is going to happen. For example, having a local anesthetic for such a procedure. This is a big procedure. I would never recommend that. It's really difficult to.
Well, thankfully, the team at Channel 5 and Botched Bodies put you back together again, and fixed you up. And your advice would be the same there.
You were nodding the whole way through.
Do you wish you'd spent the extra money and I mean, it's hindsight is a wonderful thing, but spent that extra money and stayed here.
Definitely.
Yeah, care is amazing here. Yeah, absolutely.
Botched Up Bodies is Thursday at 10 o'clock on Channel 5, and thank you all very much indeed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Right, for any further help, advice or information on anything we've discussed, have a look at the website.
Still to come, fancy a takeaway but don't want the calories? Stay tuned for our guide to slimming while you sin.
Plus, over in Corrie, Peter's been given an ultimatum, but who will he choose, Tina or Carla?
Find out with Emmerdale's Matthew Wolfenden, who's here with gossip from all the soaps after the break.